When a Hollywood legend finally steps onto the red carpet after more than half a century away from the spotlight, the atmosphere crackles with more than mere nostalgia. It thrums with the quiet electricity of an untold story poised at last to be heard. Imagine the historic palazzo lining Venice's Grand Canal, its ancient stones lit by 1,000 camera flashes that burst like fireworks in the dusk. The air is thick with expectation, as cinephiles, critics, and fellow filmmakers murmur in anticipation of a moment they've long awaited: the unveiling of a new clip featuring Kim Novak, the actress whose name still evokes Hitchcockian thrills and mid-century glamour. When she appears, slender, silver-haired, eyes bright as when she first faced the camera, there is a collective inhalation, a hush so reverent it seems to cradle her presence. This is no mere tribute. It is the culmination of a lifetime spent wrestling with perception, refusing studio-made identities, and quietly holding onto the one truth she has always known: her own. The clip opens in dim light, a nod to the chiaroscuro style of the films that once defined her career. We hear her voice, low and steady, drifting in like distant music. "I was a disappointment to my father," she says. Those 5 words carry the weight of 1,000 unspoken scenes: the long drives home after failed auditions, the whispered warnings backstage, the lingering doubt of a girl who wanted nothing more than to be seen. When she adds, "He felt Hollywood was evil," you sense the ache behind each syllable, the rift between immigrant conservatism and the paean to freedom that the motion picture world promised. It's a confession delivered without bombast, yet it lands with seismic force, shattering any illusions that glamour and stardom are built solely on red carpets and applause. As the orchestral score swells, the screen cuts to a stylized representation of the studio lot where Kim's dreams first took root. Steel girders loom overhead, and the hum of projectors echoes like a distant heartbeat. Here she introduces us to the character of Jean Eagles, a woman whose ambition knew no moral bounds, who would do anything to get ahead. She pauses, the camera lingering on her profile, and then, in a tone equal parts defiant and rueful, she insists, "Well, that's not me at all." In that moment, she draws an unbreakable line between the artifice of performance and the core of her own identity. It's a revelation that resonates far beyond the confines of this single frame. Ambition untempered by conscience is a gamble no one can truly win, and Kim Novak refuses to be defined by the characters she portrays. The tension mounts swiftly, and we're thrust into a short but electric scene of confrontation. She stands face to face with Jeannie, the unseen force pressing for her compliance. "Take your hands off of me," she declares, her voice trembling just enough to betray the vulnerability beneath the steel. "I don't want your help. I don't want you to wait for me or to take me home, and I don't want you to love me." It's a line delivered with the precision of someone who's played myriad roles but never felt quite at home in any of them. Her raised hand, a silent barrier, speaks volumes about the battles waged behind closed doors, the fight to maintain self-possession in an arena built on projection and illusion. For a second, the audience holds its breath, caught between empathy and awe. When the frame fades to black, Kim Novak returns off-screen to reflect on the cost of a life in performance. "In Hollywood, you're always playing so many different roles," she says, drawing on decades of experience. "By the time you've done 10, 12 movies, you've got traits of all these others. You start to lose who you are." Those words, uttered without bitterness, carry the resonance of hard-earned wisdom. They speak to anyone who has ever felt stretched thin by expectations or reshaped by the desires of others. They speak, too, to the countless actors who have looked in the mirror after a string of parts and wondered where the person they once knew had gone. In Novak's admission, there is both melancholy and relief, a recognition that fame's siren song can seduce you into forgetting your own voice. As the lights come up, the clip dissolves into applause that fills the gilded hall like a tide. Yet beneath the thunderous clapping lies a more intimate appreciation, the understanding that Kim Novak is not simply celebrating a career milestone but reclaiming her narrative. From the disapproval of her immigrant father in Chicago to the dizzying heights of cinematic immortality, she has marched to the beat of her own convictions. When she bows her head to the audience, it is an acknowledgement of shared journey, the vulnerable confession of a woman who dared to step onto the world stage and stayed there on her own terms. This moment at the Venice Film Festival is about more than honoring a screen icon. It's about witnessing the full arc of a life shaped by courage, creativity, and a refusal to be confined. In our minds, we recall her in Picnic, stepping lightly across grassy fields; in Vertigo, caught in spirals of obsession; in Belle, Book and Candle, casting spells with a smile. We remember the girl who played Marnie in Middle of the Night with trembling intensity, and we remember the woman who walked away from Hollywood when its bright lights threatened to eclipse her. Tonight, she returns not as a relic of a bygone era, but as a living testament to reinvention. As the final notes of the score linger, Novak stands alone on the stage. The cameras flash once more, and for a fleeting instant, she appears to be looking not at the crowd but into her own past, into every audition room where her hands trembled, every contract negotiation that tested her resolve, every night spent painting canvases that no one else would see. She takes a breath, and in that silent pause, we recognize that this is her gift to us, the assurance that authenticity can survive even the most consuming illusions. When she steps back, the applause swells once again, and we rise with her, honoring not just an actress, but a woman who has mastered the art of staying true. For those gathered in Venice and for audiences around the globe tuning in, this is more than an anniversary or a retrospective. It is a declaration of the power of personal truth. Kim Novak has known the sting of disappointment, the weight of typecasting, and the loneliness of creative exile. She has felt the dizzying highs of success and the hollow ache of being misunderstood. But tonight, on this storied stage, she stands triumphant, her story finally told in her own voice. The clip may be brief, but its echo will last far longer than any single performance. In the quiet that follows the final curtain, we understand that this is her true masterpiece, a life lived with integrity, unveiled at last for all to see.